Robert Gore from the Gualco Group is an individual and former colleague, 14 hours a day, 4 years in a thin-walled working environment. In addition to her exquisite technical competence, Jennifer Kent is caring, compassionate, and in short, amazing, a perfect leader for DHCS and all of its diverse communities.
Thank you very much. Next witness in support.
Linda Way with Western Center on Law and Poverty, recognizing the challenges and complexities of running the Medi-Cal program. We applaud Ms. Kent for stepping forward and look forward to continuing to work with her and recognizing her policy and political relevant experience, and so support her confirmation.
Thank you. The next witness in support.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Peter Hansel with CalPACE. We represent the programs of all-inclusive care for the elderly in California. Our members serve some of the sickest and neediest beneficiaries that Ms. Kent referred to. We are very dependent on the department for everything from our Medi-Cal rates to the rules and regulations that we operate on. We found Ms. Kent to be accessible, very open-minded, and willing to listen to our issues, and I think she has a good understanding of providers' needs on the ground, serving these needy populations.
Thank you much. Next witness in support.
Michelle Gibbons with the County Health Executives Association, representing local health departments in California. And we are just appreciative of Ms. Kent's desire that has shown through to really engage the counties and the local health departments. We appreciate her willingness to be accessible to our members and to really provide that feedback in a one-on-one setting as well. And so we appreciate it and we are in support.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Ann McLeod, California Hospital Association, on behalf of the more than 400 hospitals in California. I do want to take just a quick second and really give accolades to Jennifer for a lot of her work in California behind the implementation of the California Health Benefit Exchange, behind the implementation of multiple federal waivers in the Medi-Cal program in California, and behind the design and development of the first hospital fee program in California. And for that, on behalf of the hospitals, we offer our support.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Senators, Terry Thomas on behalf of the California Association of Public Hospitals and Health Systems. Our 21-member hospitals form the core of the healthcare safety net. We are the county-owned and operated facilities as well as the University of California facilities. Our collaborative relationships with Ms. Kent, both in this current position as well as in her former position as head of the local health plans of California, has enabled our hospital systems to move forward to provide greater quality of care and greater access. We also really appreciate her passionate commitment to the patients we serve.
Thank you very much. Next witness in support.
Mr. President, members, Silvio Ferrari with Sacramento Advocates on behalf of the California Opioid, maintenance providers. Thank you. In strong support.
That was a slip right there. Thank you. Next.
Emily Pappas on behalf of Vertex Pharmaceuticals. We appreciate.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Catherine Austin Scott on behalf of the District Hospital Leadership Forum. Catherine Austin Scott on behalf of the District Hospital Leadership Forum, the United Hospital Association, and the area ambulance providers in California. I can only say from working with Jennifer for 15 years that drive and determination is what gets things done, and she does that.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Kirsten Barlow on behalf of the County Behavioral Health Directors Association of California. We represent the county systems of care that serve people with mental illness and substance use disorder needs in California, and really support her confirmation, but also wanted to indicate that in our day-to-day interactions with not just her, but all of her staff, we really appreciate the collaboration in holding counties accountable as they should and as their role, but also working with us collaboratively to help solve problems to ensure that people get the treatment and services they need.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next witness in support.
Good afternoon, Erin Levi, representing SCAN, ONLOC, MSSP, Caregiver Resource Center, and Humana, all in strong support. But on a personal level, I have to say I've known Ms. Kent since we got kicked out of junior league many years ago in her early 20s because she had such strong integrity. She was not used to the BS of planning parties. She wanted to raise money for the charities that she committed to doing. I will tell you, she may be data-driven, but she thinks of every single individual and their challenges behind that data.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next witness to support.
Thank you. Terry Calgar-Hill, Calgar & Associates, on behalf of my nonprofit clients, Children's Hospital Oakland, Hemophilia Council of California, and the California WIC Association. I, too, have had the pleasure of working with Ms. Kent for many, many years. When she was in Governor Schwarzenegger's office, she worked very hard to ensure that funding for palliative care for children was covered. At that time, it was a pilot program, and it's now full-fledged program within the CCS program, and we expanded it in the budget last year. She's working with us on the CCS reforms for Medi-Cal managed care, and her integrity and her enthusiasm and her hard work has paid off and will pay off to protect these very vulnerable kids. So we support her confirmation.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Lauren Hajic on behalf of the California Consortium of Addiction Programs and Professionals in strong support.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Trent Smith on behalf of the County Organized Health Systems in strong support.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Kelly Hardy with Children Now in strong support, and especially looking forward to continuing to work together on the CCS redesign and on implementing health coverage for all kids.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Mr. Chair, members, Christy Belma on behalf of the California Professional Firefighters. Long history of working with Ms. Kent. She's pragmatic, she's solutions-oriented, and that fits with our style, so we urge your confirmation.
Thank you. Next witness in support. I think we're winding down right now.
Mr. Chair and members, Joshua Golka with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and we also urge your support of the confirmation of Ms.
Thank you very much. Michael, how many more folks do we have? Just 4 more? Just bring them all in right now so we can move this in. Next witness.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Greg Buchert, the President and CEO of California Health and Wellness, the newest Medi-Cal managed care plan in the state. And it's been a pleasure to work with Ms. Kent and her staff, and I'd support her confirmation.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Good afternoon. Brianna Lehrman, CEO of Local Health Plans of California. We're the statewide trade association representing all 16 of the community-based not-for-profit Medi-Cal plans in the state, serving about 60% of the Medi-Cal managed care population. Echo all comments on Ms. Kent and her individual capacity and all the wonderful traits, but also would point out the mark of her as a true leader is really the phenomenal staff that she has surrounded herself with. They are smart, accountable, available, and is all around an A team. So we fully support her confirmation.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Thank you. Jean Hurst here today on behalf of the Association of California Healthcare District in support of Ms. Kent's confirmation. We appreciate the open lines of communication and the great staff that she has. Really appreciate working with her and urge your support.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Farrah McDade Ting with the California State Association of Counties, representing all 58 counties. We appreciate the working relationship with Ms. Kent. She's been fantastic. Her staff has been great, and we look forward. We have a lot of big projects coming up, and she's ready to work. So we support.
Thank you. Thank you. Next witness in support.
Nick Luizos, Vice President of Legislative Affairs for the California Association of Health Plans. We're in support of Director Kent's confirmation. Can't think of a more committed, able, and experienced public servant for the job. Have worked collaboratively with her for a number of years, and we look forward to continued partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Next witness in support.
Yes, hello. Erin Kelly, Executive Director of the Children's Specialty Care Coalition, representing nearly 2,000 pediatric subspecialty physicians. Over the last year, we've worked with Ms. Kent through the CCS advisory group, stakeholder process, as well as the department stakeholder advisory committee. And she's made herself readily accessible and is a very thoughtful leader, and we're here to testify in support.
Thank you. Next, we have a couple more. Next witness in support.
Good afternoon, Alice Kessler. I'm here on behalf of the California School-Based Health Alliance, and we enthusiastically support Director Kent's confirmation.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Jody Hicks, representing a few clients, the California Academy of Family Physicians, the California Podiatric Medical Association, and the 911 Ambulance Providers Medi-Cal Alliance in support of Ms. Kent's confirmation. She has a tough job working on a lot of tough issues, and it has been a pleasure working with her so far and look forward to continue working.
Thank you. Next witness in support.
Theo Pejos, representing Tenet Healthcare. We operate 12 hospitals in the state as well as a small health plan in strong support. Hard to find somebody in her position that has seen the healthcare delivery system from quite as many angles as she has. So she brings a great breadth of experience to the job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pejos. Next and last witness in support.
Good afternoon, Brianna Pittman with the California Dental Association, here in strong support of Director Kent's nomination. And we want to appreciate her dedication and commitment to improving access, especially for Denti-Cal. I want to acknowledge the working relationship with her and her staff that was mentioned, been brought on. It's been really fantastic this last year or so. And we're very optimistic about the future of Denti-Cal and hope that the next time we have this conversation, it will no longer be a hot mess. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you much. Thank you much. Any other folks in support of today's confirmation hearing of Ms. Kent? Any other folks in support? Those who are in opposition, don't be afraid. You're in a protected space. Those who are agnostic altogether. Those who are agnostic altogether. We see none. Okay, we've heard those in support. We see have no opposition. Can we have a motion on the confirmation of Ms. Kent? Okay.
One of us moves.
Okay, we have
Runner.
a motion made by Mr. Canella. May the record note. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Canella?
Aye.
Canella, aye. Leyva? Mitchell? Aye. Mitchell, aye. Runner?
Aye.
Runner, aye. DeLeon?
Aye.
DeLeon, aye.
Okay. Ms. Kent, your motion passes on a 4-0 vote. We're going to hold the roll open so Ms. Leyva may join in the vote. On behalf of the Senate Rules Committee, we want to congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Colleagues, what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we're going to have Mr. Kish as well as Ms. Schur, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this correctly, Schur. Please come up, and we will begin in 5 minutes. Good afternoon again. We're going to re-adjourn the Senate Rules Committee. We are ready to go. I want to welcome our two guests that we have before us. We have Ms. Dara Schur as well as Mr. Kevin Kish. We have a twofer because both are from the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, one being a member of the board and the other being the actual director of the agency itself. Why don't we start with your own self-introductions, and we'll go straight to Q&A.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem and Senators. I'm really honored to be here this afternoon, and thank you for your consideration. I want to introduce my spouse, who's here in the audience, Mia Gorshi, and several close friends as well, Claudia Capio and Melissa Alden. I'm really thrilled to have the opportunity to sit on the Fair Employment and Housing Council. I think this is an incredible opportunity to expand equal opportunity in those areas in the state of California. And I am very much excited about the opportunity to do that and to take the 32 years I have working on these issues into a new arena where we can expand the rights of Californians. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Schur. Mr. Kish.
Thank you. I want to introduce my father, Rick Kish, my siblings, Andy, Ryan, and Derek Kish, Maggie Horton, my fiance, Connor Fetting-Smith, and members of our executive team from the department who are here to observe.
You have three brothers,
yes.
So 4 in total? The quadruplets are
If it doesn't work for me, one of them could just...
Well, welcome to the Kish family.
Thank you. I'm going to keep this super bare bones so we can go straight to questions. In my last job at Betzetic Legal Services, I represented thousands of working people, some of them in conditions of forced labor, all of them working in the underground economy. None of them had regular access to computers. Many didn't have the literacy, the education, or the connections needed to navigate the world that we inhabit in this room. Part of our job and one of my commitments is being visible to those people and accessible to them. At the same time, there are hundreds of thousands of small businesses and housing providers in California. We equally have to be visible and accessible to them and provide them expert and common sense guidance. My decision-making practice, my approach to problem solving is to bring everybody together. The more, the better. And in my last job, I worked with universities, community groups, business groups, government agencies to get work done. I bring that same approach to this job. I look forward to working with you all to do that, and I welcome your questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Kish. We're going to go straight to it. Questions, commentaries, if you have none, I will move on. I will start with Ms. Mitchell.
Anyone who's worked with Betzetic is all right with me.
There you go.
We had a great conversation. I appreciated the our meeting, our conversation. I appreciate the commitment you've made to organization that I value and respect, Black Labor Center in Los Angeles, and figuring out how to address some of the critical issues Black laborers are experiencing. And so we'll continue to follow up and figure out how we can be supportive. I think, the role of the department is so critically important, particularly today, around fair employment and housing issues. And so I look forward to being a partner. But like I said, Betsadek, 2 thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mitchell. Mr. Cannella.
Thank you. We had a nice discussion, I think, yesterday, and really a lot of the questions I asked revolved around you both have kind of advocacy backgrounds, and that we have to remember that we want to work with business. Most businesses want to comply. A lot of times small businesses don't really know how to comply. So I was pleased with your answers that it's a team effort. There's some bad actors out there. We've got to deal with them. But most businesses want to do the right thing, and so you both were committed to working with those businesses. So that, no questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Colleagues.
Mr. Pro Tem, can I go backwards? I'm sorry.
Sure,
This
sure,
is what
sure,
happens when you don't pay attention.
No,
I
no,
don't
no, please,
multitask
please,
well.
by all
I
means.
heard you because you were last. I didn't hear Dara. Full disclosure, we were colleagues together at Weston Center on Law and Poverty. So I know her history, her commitment, long-term commitment to access to housing and fair and equitable treatment of Californians with regard to housing. So Weston Center on Law and Poverty, 2 thumbs up for me.
And I just want to state for colleagues on the Senate Rules Committee, Mr. Cannella, be mindful that your questions are for both appointees that are before us today. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. I think, Dara, we talked a little bit about given your experience as Director of Litigation for Disability Rights of California, how do you intend to balance the often competing interests of the different parties impacted by both the housing employment regulations?
It's very important to have, for effective policy, to make sure all parties are really fully represented at the table. The many years I've spent as an advocate and a stakeholder in many a process has taught me that unless you have everybody's interests on the table and try and reach consensus, you don't end up with effective policy. So I'm firmly committed to making sure that the Fair Employment Housing Council does reach out to all constituencies and include them fully in our discussions.
And the council will be working with small businesses as well.
Absolutely. We will be
setting
reaching-
those policies and regulations that help small business as opposed to hurting them, right?
We're certainly paying attention to the impact of our regulations, and I think the council is very supportive also of Mr. Kish's efforts to do significant outreach, and the council hopes to assist in that to the small business community and other small businesses and smaller landlords who may not have full access to legal counsel, but who really can benefit from our outreach and our education and our ability to provide them with clear materials and information about their rights as well.
Thank you. And I know I had a great conversation with Mr. Kish and you today, and look forward to working together in the future, especially because Dara's a Minnesota Twins fan. and
Absolutely.
My nephew plays for the Minnesota Twins, so I got to get that in. Yeah, we had a good conversation about the Minnesota Twins. So we talked to Kevin. I talked to Kevin too. I said he was too young for the job, and he said my 3 younger brothers are coming. I didn't know that you were all like identical twins or something. Good to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. I see no other comments or questions from the members of the Rules Committee. Why don't we have folks who come up in support of the 2 nominations that are before us today? I've asked that folks still adhere to brevity so we can move through this. Those in support?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Pro Tem and members, Caitlin Vega for the California Labor Federation. Very pleased to be here today to support my friend Kevin Kish. Many people know of his kind of legacy as one of the great advocates for low-wage workers in Los Angeles. Kevin worked closely with us in really helping us understand what the barriers were for low-wage workers, particularly immigrant workers, so that we were able to look at the way that the law was drafted, the laws of retaliation and much of the labor code, to understand really the practical realities when low-wage workers try to exercise their rights and the kinds of retaliation that they face. His expertise and his real attention to the lives of everyday people and how to make the rights that we all believe in a reality for them leads me to believe he is the absolute best person for this job. So I'm so pleased to be here in support today. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next person in support, next witness in support. Go ahead.
Hi, committee. My name is Daniela Urban. I'm with the Center for Workers' Rights here in Sacramento, but I'm here on behalf of the Coalition of Low-Wage and Immigrant Worker Advocate member organizations, including, and I'm going to list them since they're not long
Sure,
line
go ahead.
here, Asians Americans Advancing Justice Los Angeles, Asian Law Caucus, I can give you the list too. Asians Americans Advancing Justice LA, Bet Sedek, California Rural Legal Assistance Foundation, the Center for Workers' Rights, Centro Legal de la Raza, Chinese Progressive Association San Francisco, Employee Rights Center, Equal Rights Advocates, the Catherine and George Alexander Community Law Center, Kiwa, the Koreatown Immigrant Worker Alliance, the Labor and Employment Committee of the National Lawyers Guild, Legal Aid of Marin, Legal Aid Society Employment Law Center, the Maintenance Cooperative Trust Fund, National Employment Law Project, National Immigration Law Center, Restaurant Opportunities Center of Los Angeles, Southern California Coalition of Occupational Safety and Health, the SoCal-OSH, UCLA Downtown Labor Center, the Wage Justice Center, Warehouse Workers Resource Center, Employee Rights Clinic of the Golden Gate University Law School. As a former member of the CLIWA, Coalition of Low-Wage and Immigrant Worker Advocates, Kevin has been an advocate for low-wage workers for many years. He's already been so helpful in making sure that technology barriers are not a barrier for employees seeking their rights under our anti-discrimination statutes. We're so pleased to have him at the department, and we hope that you will confirm his nomination today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next witness in support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Mariko Yoshihara with the California Employment Lawyers Association. We have over 1,100 attorneys, many representing workers, and a lot of them are in discrimination cases, family leave cases, civil rights cases, and so we have a really strong interest in ensuring we have a robust department. And I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Kish when he was at Bet Sedek representing low-wage and immigrant workers, and he contributed so much to our association, and I can already see the leadership that he's brought now to the department, and so we are in strong support of his leadership and being the head of the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, and strongly urge your support in the confirmation.
Thank you. Thank you much. Any other folks in support of today's nominations? Mr. Kish as well as Ms. Schur. Any other folks in support? Seeing none, those in opposition? Those in opposition? Any of your brothers?
Don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask, yeah. Any folks in opposition? I'm seeing no folks in opposition. Senator Holly Mitchell, would you like to make a motion on the nominations of these two individuals that are before us? We have a nomination, we have a motion, I should say, made by Ms. Mitchell. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Cannella? Aye. Cannella, aye. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. Mitchell? Aye. Mitchell, aye. Runner?
Aye.
Runner, aye. DeLeon?
Aye.
DeLeon, aye.
Motions pass, file items 1A and 1C on a 5-0 vote. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, what we're going to do is we're going to lift a call on file item 1B. Please call the roll.
Current vote is 4-0. Senator Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye.
We will close the roll. Motion passes on a 5-0 vote, and that is Ms. Kent. Colleagues, we're going to work the files. We have file item number, we're going to start with number 2. That includes 2D and E through 9, 2D and E through number 9. Can I have a motion? We have a motion made by Ms. Mitchell. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Cannella? Aye. Cannella, aye. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. Mitchell? Aye. Mitchell, aye. Runner?
Aye.
Runner, aye. DeLeon?
Aye.
DeLeon, aye.
Motion passes on a 5-0 vote. I'm going to ask folks to exit the room now, please. We're going to move into a